This is Gus Summers, and you're watching In-Show Celebrities. This is the time I take every Monday to talk about some of my favorite films and actors. This week, we have another of Hollywood's grand actors. He's established himself as one of Hollywood's greatest action stars. Of course, I'm talking about none other than Mr. Bruce Willis. This fine actor started off like many other actors. He was in off-Broadway shows in New York and just slowly built himself a wonderful resume in all these wonderful Broadway shows. And then finally he decided one day to take the plunge and move all the way from New York, of course, to California to give a try at acting in Hollywood. Well, right off, he got himself an agent, started to do guest spots on television shows, commercials, and then came his big break. He won a role beating out about 3,000 other actors for the lead role in Moonlighting. And from there, branched him into not only television, commercials, all in the lead spots, and then, of course, into movies. He was one of those actors that transcended well from television to movies, which is a difficult transition for some actors, but he did it beautifully. Well, first up is the movie that launched him into that stratosphere of megastar. That put him right up there with established movie stars, especially in the action genre. Of course, I'm talking about Die Hard. He plays John McClane, a New York detective visiting his wife, who recently moved from New York to Los Angeles because she got a promotion. So he comes to visit her and the kids for Christmas holiday. So while he's here and trying to reconnect with his wife, because it's really more of a separation than just her moving to Los Angeles because of her job. And so he's trying to they're trying to rekindle their love. Well, she works for a huge international company that's having a Christmas day Christmas party. It's a party that has to do with entire company coming together so they can celebrate a big business deal that they had also going on. They're almost finished with the complex, so it's a huge shindig. Everyone's there. Well, while everyone is partying, Bruce Willis is in the office, trying to unwind. He had a long flight. He's just relaxing. Well, in the midst of all the celebrating, the entire building taken over by would-be terrorists. They come in, they burst in with machine guns. Everyone gathering everyone together, and their leader is led by another grand actor. He plays Hans Gruber. The actor, Alan Rickman. So he comes in, tells everyone that it is a terrorist attack because to show the company for their profiteering and their greed, for all the things that they've done throughout the world, they're gonna teach them a lesson. And so in the midst of all this, John hears all the commotion. So he where he's at. It's a corridor. He opens the door, looks down the corridor, and he sees that some of the terrorists are coming, and checking each office and pulling them out. Well, there comes a moment where there's a distraction. He sees that there is a exit sign, and so he just bolts. He runs through the exit and is running up the stairs. The check-in checks the room. No one's there. They think they have everyone. Well, so one of the things is what made the movie great is that all he was able to bring with him was basically his gun, because he's a detective, New York detective, and all he's wearing is a tank top and trousers, no shoes. So for those of you that have seen the movie, will know what that is all about later. But so that's all he has. So he is trying to avoid detection. And as he is, running through the bowels of the building, he's, opening doors, seeing the terrorists, seeing, different things that they're doing, and, different weapons that they're bringing. And he's trying to, see what he can do. He's trying to, warn the police. The police think that he's a prankster calling them. The terrorists don't know he's there, so they're going about his business. But what ends up happening is that he either gets found, they run into him, so he has to deal with the terrorists. So he starts basically killing them one at a time, and then Hans Gruber, Alan Rickman, he's telling one, just relax, let's just go about our business and look for him. But then Bruce Willis ends up killing one of the particular terrorists that has this black bag. And you end up finding out that the terrorist scenario is just a ruse. Alan Rickman and the group are really there to steal 600 million, if I remember correctly, $600 million of bearer bonds, tradable bearer bonds, throughout the world. So really, all they are robbers, and so everything is just a ruse. And so, but when they need the bag because they have detonators, and they need that to blow up the safe, blow up all kinds of other stuff. So now they're really looking for him, and he's got one of the walkie-talkies, and he's talking to Alan Rickman, and Alan Rickman says, "Well, Mr. Cowboy, you a guy who watches one too many of those movies, and what's your name?" He says, "Call me Roy." It's Roy Rogers, cowboy, and that's when he gives that great line, yippee-ki-yay. But again, what ends up happening is that the police finally come. They think nothing's wrong, and Bruce Willis throws one of the terrorists out the window, crashes on the police car, and the police car, the policeman is driving back, reverse, help, we need help, officer under fire. And the officer is Sergeant Powell, played great by Reginald Val Johnson. You remember him as the dad on Family Matters. But they finally, the police finally convinced. They come, try to negotiate with Alan Rickman, but he knows it's all a ruse. He goes, "This just buys us more time. We knew it was going to happen." Anyways, great film. That threw him way up to superstar status. Made him right up there with the other action stars, of course, of the day, which was, Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And anyone who looks back at the action stars know it's Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Bruce Willis. Anyways, great film. Great film. Next up is another film. It is written by one of Hollywood's best screenwriters. Because of this screenwriter, the action genre was really solidified. He's probably known as like the father of action films, 80s action films, Shane Black. And this was a film that he wrote, The Last Boy Scout. Bruce Willis plays Joe Hallenbeck. He's basically a washed-up, Secret Service agent. He's now a detective, and he smokes, he drinks, he's married, has a daughter, but his life is just in shambles. And what ends up happening is his friend tells him, "Hey, I have this job, I can't do it. You want to do it?" And he says, "Sure." And it was kind of like a ruse. No, not kind of. It was a ruse. Because his friend was having an affair with his wife. You can go kind of one of two ways. That he was there to give him the job so he'd stay away longer so he can have a continuous affair with his wife, and that possibly it would lead him down a dangerous path where it ultimately he may even be killed. So what ends up happening is that he goes home early, finds his friend and his wife had an affair. His friend, he leaves. They leave together. He's telling him, I can't believe it. and that you're doing this to me. He takes the job. His friend goes in his car, and his friend's car blows up. Boom. The police come. He says, I don't know what's happening. He was just here to give me a job. And so John McClane continues. Bruce Willis, Joe Hallenbeck continues to pursue the job, and it's to protect a stripper. And it's the stripper. It's one of her first movies that she's involved in. Her name is Corey, and she's portrayed by Miss Holly Berry. Yeah, she plays a stripper who hires Joe Hallenbeck to protect her, and her boyfriend. Her boyfriend is a former football quarterback, and he's portrayed by he's Jimmy Dix, portrayed by Damon Wayans. We know the Wayans as comedians and such, and he does a great job as Jimmy Dix, the quarterback. A little bit of comedy, not over the top, but fit the role perfectly. So, Bruce Willis is there saying, talking to Holly Berry. She wants protection. Damon Williams saying, I can protect her. She doesn't need your help. And he kind of gets in a fist fight with Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis, takes care of him really quick. And anyways, she leaves without Bruce Willis because he was taken, knocked out, almost killed. He escapes. She's driving along with Damon Wayans behind her. Someone hits her, bumps her as they pull over to exchange information. Guys come out with a machine gun and kill her. Jimmy Hicks, Damon Wayans sees, comes and plows his car into them. The guys are shooting at him. Here comes Bruce Willis, boom, 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 killing everybody. And they find out, she's dead. And now, the police are involved again. What happened? This is what happened. They let him go again because, they weren't involved in regards to they just happened to be there. And so now Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans are kind of banding together because they want to know, she's dead. She hired me. She's my girlfriend. Well, let's figure this out. At first, Bruce Willis is reluctant, but Damon Wayans wins him over. And so as they're finding out more about what's happening, they figured out that Holly Berry's character was once involved with the football team that Damon Wayans used to play for. Except what happened is that he got disgraced. He was gambling, so they banned him from the league. He can't play anymore. At one point, she told him, "I have something that will help you get back into the game." Well, she had this evidence that the owner of the team was bribing a senator so that football gambling could become legal in California. And so she had this cassette tape. So it kind of tells you the day. It was a cassette tape. They find it. They find out the owner of the football team, another great actor, Marcone. His name is Marcone, played by Noble Winningham. Another grand actor. You always recognize him in all movies, all sorts of movies. But they have him and the senator talking about a bribe. But Damon Wayans accidentally destroys the evidence, and now Bruce Willis and him are like, now we don't have any evidence. What do we do now? But people know now they have killers. Killers and assassins after them because they know they have some sort of evidence, and they want to get them out of the way because they know that if Holly Berry knew, that they know, and now they're showing that they do know that there's some sort of evidence. So they're trying to be killed. So you have this movie that goes along basically like in just a few days. So Bruce Willis is being shot at, beat up, so is Damon Wayans, and it's all around football gambling. And so the whole aspect of the movie is trying to find out who's all truly involved, what it's all really about, and trying to solve Corey's murder, and trying not to get killed themselves. It's a great story because it follows along nicely. it is kind of a movie of its day. With the action and some of the dialogue and the look, but the movie goes along, doesn't give too much away. I probably gave more away right now, but it's a steady, good pace, and I think it's a movie you'll enjoy. The Last Boy Scout. Well, one last movie. It has become better known as the years have gone by. People have liked it more. When it first came out, it wasn't a big commercial success, but it's one of those movies that I felt hit its own little genre, fit in somewhere perfectly. The movie, The Last Man Standing. He plays John Smith. He's basically a renegade outlaw during the 30s Prohibition era. So he's leaving the East, he's heading towards Mexico, and he stops in this little border town called Jericho. And there are two rival gangs, fighting for control, because it's a town where they're able to get liquor in from Mexico into the United States and then distribute it back in the East. So you have one side. You have Strozzi. He's the Strozzi gang. Then you have the other side. It's the Irish. The Doyle gang. And Doyle played great. He's a great character actor. I wish he would do more, because he has this ability. The actor, David Patrick Kelly. He has this intensity. Every role he always has, he just has this explosion to him and this ability. I was like, man, what a great actor. Great actor. You might remember him from another cult classic. Great movie, The Warriors. He's the one with the bottles. For those of you who have seen it, he's all, warriors come out to play. And he's hitting these bottles. Anyways, just a little side note, he made that line up, by the way. So for those of you who've seen it, that's him, and he improvised that whole line. It's a great film. So, yeah, the Irish gang on one side, the Italian gang on the other. So Bruce Willis, on his way to Mexico, thinks, well, I can earn a few bucks. He's basically, I'm a gunfighter. He's an enforcer. So he goes to work first for the Strozzi gang, because he ended up killing a few of Doyle's men, because they ruined his car, and he said, you guys need to pay for it. And the one guy's, I'm not gonna pay for it. He has a big gun, and Bruce Willis takes off his coat. He has 2.45s, and then basically they go the draw, and Bruce Willis just that's what it just blows the guy away, and that's what makes the movie so great. We know they only have 6 shots. It's an 45s, but he's like firing 40, 50 bullets. But it's great. It's a great look. So anyway, he's in this old border town. It's like basically an old western brought into the 30s, which it fits completely probable, because it actually was like that. So he first works for Strozzi, and then then he goes and switches sides and works for Doyle. He goes, Doyle says, I don't care. I know he's paying you. I'll pay you more, whatever you want. Here, take it. So now then at one point he switches to Strozzi. And then there was the sheriff in town. He went to go talk to the sheriff. And the sheriff says, don't even ask me, because you need to handle it yourself. But the sheriff, another grand actor. He plays Ed Galt. It's Mr. Bruce Dern. Bruce Dern, again, has this ability of having these little scenes, these little moments where it's like, what are you going to do there? There's a scene where you have to catch it, where Bruce Willis is talking to him, and he's about to walk out the door, but Bruce Dern stops him, and he's just looking at him and talking to him, and you think Bruce Dern's going to do something. But again, these actors have these abilities. These great actors have this ability to take these little scenes and just make them huge. So you have Bruce Willis going back and forth. He's feeding one side false information, basically burning the candles at both ends. And they're all telling him, Doyle's gang's telling him, you know what, you just gotta be easy, be careful, because we got Hickey. Hickey is Doyle's right hand guy. So he'll straighten everything out when he gets back because he's been out of town. Hickey, played by, come on, listen to this one, Mr. Christopher Walken. he's got this, like a burned eye. His eye is all messed up, and then he's got that Christopher Walken thing that he does. I goes, oh, it's great. So, but the thing is that Christopher Walken has a Tommy gun, machine gun. So that's how he kills me. He walks with a machine gun. So, the great action. And again, what I liked about the film is that its pacing was nice. You have Bruce Willis doing a voiceover, kind of, letting you into his head and, letting you know what he thinks and kind of, playing the story out, saying, I know I should leave, but, sometimes, I do things that I shouldn't, and so on and so forth. And so you have, them battling out, killing each other, and, trying to get the upper hand on each side. And so, there's a scene that lets you know why Bruce Willis does what he does. He's actually like a good guy. It's one of the things about, the character. And it's Bruce Dern that tells him, he goes, I know what would be the end of you. And he goes, it's going to be a skirt. He goes, that's going to bring the end to you. Because Bruce Willis is a good guy. He helps the underdog. He helps the ladies. He feels sorry for them. They need money to get out. He pays for them to get out and all this stuff because he's just, in my point of view, searching for some sort of redemption. And so, again, he plays both ends. But as the movie, progresses, there's one scene. There comes a Texas Ranger. The actor. Well, the Texas Ranger is his name's Pickett, Tom Pickett, and the actor. He does such a great job at portraying the Ranger. I think he really, the scene was really solid for him. The actor, Ken Jenkins. You remember Ken from Scrubs. He plays Dr. Kelso. He plays, the administrator. He's funny because he's also has great comedic timing. And he's very dry, very very easygoing. But in this one, he plays the Texas Ranger, and he's just really intense. And the way he talks to him, well, son, I'll be back in 10 days, and if I find there isn't one gang, I'll make sure there's none gangs. And so he's really just like nice, great scene. But anyways, great film. I enjoyed it. More people. As the years went on, people have enjoyed it as well. Well, again, that's what I got for you today. Of course, we have Die Hard. The entire series of Die Hard. Great films. Of course, The Last Boy Scout. We got another great film there. And, of course, The Last Man Standing. And, again, I'm only scraping the surface of all the great movies he's done. Not only a great action star, but also, great comedic timing. And, does really well in, comedies and such. But, a sign of a true grand actor. Well, again, that's what I got for you today. Now, this is Gus Summers, and you've been watching In-Show Celebrities. And this is the time I take every Monday to talk about my favorite films and actors. And, of course, remember, don't forget to check us out every Thursday at theinshow.com, where I host The In-Show. And that's where I bring in all sorts of celebrities and guests to just talk about their projects or whatever it is that's on their minds. And of course, don't forget to visit us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Flickr, Instagram, all those great social media sites. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, Gus has left the building.